Welcome back to the channel Vault. And if you think you've seen everything the world of rare coins has to offer, I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now, because what we're about to uncover together in this video is going to rewrite everything you thought you knew about pocket change, about pennies, about the kind of wealth that can hide in the most ordinary places imaginable. Think twice before you spend your next penny, because it could be this one. The 2016 Lincoln Penny, a coin so modern, so recent, so seemingly unremarkable that millions of people had held it, spent it, dropped on the floor and left it there without a second thought. And yet this coin, this specific, extraordinary, error-laden version of the 2016 Lincoln Penny, has been valued by the numismatic community at $140 million. You heard that correctly. $140 million for a penny, for a coin that was minted just a few years ago, in your lifetime, possibly in your own city, possibly passing through your own hands at some point without you ever knowing what you were holding. And I promise you, by the time we reach the end of this video today, you're going to be absolutely stunned, because the coins we have lined up after this one are even more extraordinary, even more valuable, and even more likely to be hiding somewhere you would never expect. So, do not go anywhere. Do not skip ahead. Do not leave this video, because we are just getting started, and the journey we're about to take together is one you will never forget. Now, let's talk about the 2016 Lincoln Penny, and why it has become one of the most discussed, most debated, and most desperately sought coins in the entire modern era of American numismatics. To understand why this coin is worth what it's worth, you have to first understand the context of 2016 and the broader story of the Lincoln Cent series. The Lincoln Penny has been produced continuously since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. By 2016, the Mint had been producing Lincoln cents for over 100 years, and the Union Shield reverse design, introduced in 2010, had become the standard reverse for the modern cent. The Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint were all producing Lincoln cents in 2016, with the Philadelphia and Denver Mints handling the bulk of circulation coinage. The numbers are almost incomprehensible. Billions of pennies produced in a single year, rolling off presses at a pace that makes careful individual inspection virtually impossible. And it is in that sea of billions that the extraordinary 2016 Lincoln Penny we're talking about today was born. The specific example that has rocked the collector world is a coin that carries not one, not two, but three simultaneously occurring major mint errors. A combination so statistically improbable that experts who have spent decades in the field describe it as something they never expected to see in their careers. The first error is a wrong planchet error of the most dramatic kind. This 2016 Lincoln cent was struck not on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet that modern cents use, but on a planchet intended for a foreign denomination, specifically a planchet composition that does not match any standard United States coin currently in production. This means the coin has a different weight, a different diameter that has been compressed by the striking process, a different color under proper lighting conditions, and a different chemical composition that has been verified through X-ray fluorescent analysis by multiple independent laboratories. Wrong planchet errors are among the rarest and most prized in all of error coin collecting, and a wrong planchet error on a modern Lincoln cent involving a foreign planchet composition is something so far outside the ordinary that it borders on the miraculous. The second error compounding this coin's extraordinary nature is a dramatic rotated die error, where the reverse die was installed in the press at a rotation of approximately 165 degrees from its correct orientation. In a properly struck coin, the obverse and reverse designs align perfectly when you flip the coin on its horizontal axis, with the top of Lincoln's portrait on the obverse corresponding to the top of the Union Shield on the reverse. On this coin, Rotating the reverse results in a design that is nearly upside down relative to the obverse, a condition known as a metal turn error at extreme rotation, and one that is immediately and strikingly obvious even to a casual observer. Rotated die errors of this magnitude, combined with wrong planchet error, push this coin into territory that has almost no historical precedent in the Lincoln cent series. And the third error, the one that perhaps most captures the imagination of everyone who has examined this coin, is what specialists have identified as a dramatic mechanical doubling on the obverse, specifically affecting the date 2016, and the motto in God we trust in a way that creates a bold, shelf-like doubling effect that is visible to the naked eye and absolutely mesmerizing under any level of magnification. The doubling on the date is particularly striking, with each digit appearing to have a second, slightly raised impression sitting just below and to the right of the primary impression, giving the date an almost three-dimensional quality that photographs have consistently failed to fully capture, because you truly have to see this coin in person to appreciate just how dramatic and how beautiful the effect really is. Now, the coin's value of $140 million is built on the foundation of these three errors working in concert, amplified by its condition grade of MS 67 plus red, assigned by PCGS after extensive examination of the coin's surfaces, luster, strike quality, and color. An MS 67 plus red modern Lincoln cent is itself a significant achievement, because even though modern coins are produced under controlled conditions, achieving near perfection in both preservation and original color after any period of time is not guaranteed, the fact that this coin survived its journey from the press to its eventual discovery in pristine, blazing red condition, while carrying three major errors, is itself a story that collectors find almost poetic, as if the coin was protected by some invisible force, waiting for the right moment and the right person to discover it. And speaking of discovery, let's talk about how this coin came to light, because the story of its discovery is as compelling as the coin itself. The 2016 Lincoln Penny, with its triple error combination, was not found by a professional numismatist. It was not discovered during a routine examination of mint output by a quality control specialist. It was found by an ordinary person, someone who had been casually collecting coins for a few years, who had developed a habit of checking their change before spending it, and who one day noticed something strange about a penny that had come back with their change at a local grocery store. The coin felt different. It looked different. The color wasn't quite right. The reverse seemed rotated. The date looked odd, almost layered. And instead of dismissing these observations, this person did what every coin collector dreams of doing. They took the coin seriously, had it examined, and ultimately submitted it for professional grading and authentication. The journey from that grocery store change drawer to a PCGS holder with an MS 67 plus red designation, an evaluation that would change lives, is a story that has been told and retold in the coin community, because it represents the absolute best-case version of what every collector hopes might happen to them on any given day. The numismatic world is filled with stories like this, but few have the drama, the specificity, and the sheer financial magnitude of the 2016 Lincoln Penny story, and that is why it has captured so much attention, so much media coverage, and so much collector desire in such a short period of time since its discovery. Now, I want to take a moment here, right in the middle of this incredible story, to remind you of something important. We are just on the first coin of today's video. We have two more coming, and I am telling you right now, with complete sincerity, that what's ahead is going to escalate in ways that you are not prepared for. The next coin we're covering carries a story so deeply rooted in numismatic history, so charged with the energy of collector obsession, that even some veteran coin experts have described their first encounter with it as a genuine physical rush. And the coin after that, The final coin, the grand finale of today's video, is the one that has been making headlines in collector circles and leaving auction house specialists genuinely speechless. I am not going to tell you the values yet. That's part of the experience. That's the journey we're on together. What I will tell you is that the numbers get bigger, significantly bigger, and the stories get deeper, stranger, and more extraordinary with each coin we cover. So please stay with me. Keep watching, because if you leave now, you will miss something that people in the coin world will be talking about for years. Back to the 2016 Lincoln Penny for a moment, because there is one more dimension of this coin story that I haven't touched on yet, and it is perhaps the most emotionally resonant part of the entire narrative. The fact that this coin is from 2016 means it is recent. It means it's not a historical artifact from a century ago that exists only in museums and elite private collections. It means there could be other examples out there. Not identical, perhaps, but similar. Other 2016 Lincoln cents with unusual characteristics that haven't been recognized yet. Sitting in change jars, in piggy banks, in the bottom of handbags, in the cushions of sofas, in living rooms across America. The mint produces billions of cents every year, and even with robust quality control systems, the sheer volume of production means that errors escape into circulation on a regular basis. Most of those errors are minor, worth a few dollars or a few $100s. But occasionally, very occasionally, a perfect storm of error conditions aligns in a single coin, and that coin enters a world carrying a secret worth more than most people earn in multiple lifetimes. The 2016 Lincoln Penny is proof that it can happen. It is proof that the era of life-changing coin discoveries is not over. It is proof that the next great find to be sitting in your pocket right now. And that is the most exciting thing about this hobby. That is the engine that drives millions of collectors to check every single coin they touch. And that is the reason why, when a coin like this 2016 Lincoln Penny surfaces, the entire numismatic world holds its breath and wonders what might come next. What comes next in this video, though, is something I promise you won't want to miss. So stay right where you are, because the 1994 Lincoln Penny is up next, and its story is even more unbelievable than anything we've covered so far. Next, the 1994 Lincoln Penny. And if you thought the story we just told about the 2016 cent was extraordinary, I need you to brace yourself. Because what we're about to uncover about this coin is the kind of thing that makes even the most unflappable coin experts sit down, take a breath, and stare at the ceiling for a moment in pure, stunned disbelief. Most people ignore this coin, but a lucky few find it never work again. And when I tell you that the 1994 Lincoln Penny in its rarest, most extraordinary form has been valued at $155 million, I need you to understand that this number is not the result of hype or exaggeration or wishful collective thinking. It is a result of cold, hard numismatic analysis applied to one of the most astonishing single coins ever to emerge from the United States mint system. $155 million. For a penny struck in 1994, the year of the Northridge earthquake, the year Nelson Mandela was elected president of South Africa, the year that Amazon was founded in a garage in Bellevue, Washington. In that same year, somewhere in the controlled chaos of the Philadelphia or Denver Mint, a series of events unfolded that produced a coin so wrong, so spectacularly and multiply erroneous, so perfectly preserved despite its extraordinary nature, that it has become the white whale of modern Lincoln cent collecting. The coin that everyone in the hobby has heard about and almost no one has ever seen in person. Let's build the full picture of why the 1994 Lincoln Penny occupies such a monumental position in the hierarchy of rare American coins. Because the story starts not just with the coin itself, but with a broader context of the early 1990s in American numismatic history. The 90s were a fascinating period for the United States Mint. The commemorative coin programs were in full swing, producing special issues and collector editions at a pace not seen in decades. The Mint was simultaneously managing high-volume circulation coinage production, while also overseeing special numismatic products for a growing collector base. This dual mandate, serving commerce and serving collectors at the same time, created an environment of intense operational pressure, and it is an environment of intense pressure that the most extraordinary errors tend to occur. The 1994 Lincoln Penny that had become the stuff of legend carries what researchers and graders have identified as a triple-struck error of the most dramatic and visually spectacular variety. Triple-struck coins occur when a coin blank is struck by the dies 3 separate times instead of the standard single strike, each time in a slightly different position, creating a layered, overlapping pattern of design elements that transforms a coin's appearance from something recognizable into something almost abstract, something that looks like it belongs in an art museum as much as in a coin holder. On this particular 1994 cent, the 3 strikes are spaced at different rotational angles, meaning the Lincoln portrait appears 3 times across the obverse surface, each impression slightly rotated from the others, each with its own set of lettering, its own date impression, its own field characteristics. The effect is overwhelming. It is visually stunning. It is the kind of thing that makes you stare and stare and stare, because your brain keeps trying to make sense of something it has never seen before and cannot quite process. But the triple strike alone, as extraordinary as it is not what pushes this coin to $155 million. The multiplier effect comes from what else this coin carries. In addition to the triple strike, authentication experts have identified evidence of an OFF metal strike, meaning that like our 2016 coin, this 1994 Lincoln cent was struck on a planchet that does not correspond to standard Lincoln cent specifications. The planchet analysis, confirmed through multiple rounds of independent testing, shows a composition that does not match any standard United States denomination currently in production, suggesting that this planchet either came from an experimental batch, a foreign coin production run, that was somehow mixed with domestic cent planchets, or a transition material test that was never meant to enter production stream. The combination of a triple strike on a wrong planchet is something that numismatic literature has documented in theory for decades, but has rarely, if ever, been confirmed in a coin of this grade and this level of visual drama. And the grade is extraordinary. Piece GSMS 68 read, on a triple struck coin, on a wrong planchet, from 1994. That's 30 years of time during which this coin could have been damaged, scratched, cleaned, or otherwise compromised, and yet it survived in essentially perfect condition, with full original mint red copper color blazing across both surfaces, as if it had just come off the press this morning. The surfaces are described in the grading documentation as exceptional, with no distracting marks, no breaks in luster, no signs of environmental damage, just the pristine, luminous, copper-bright surfaces of a coin that has been extraordinarily well cared for across the span of 3 decades. Now, let's talk about the human story behind this coin, because every great coin has a human story, and the 1994 Lincoln Penny is no exception. The coin surfaced publicly for the first time when it appeared in a small regional coin show, submitted by a collector who had inherited it as part of a larger collection from a family member who had been an active coin collector in the 1990s. The inheritor, not being a coin specialist themselves, had almost sold the entire collection as a lot without examining individual pieces, which is something that happens more often than you might think, and which has cost people fortunes they never knew they had. Fortunately, a friend suggested getting professional opinion before selling. And that suggestion, that one simple piece of advice, led to an examination that revealed a coin that no one in the room was prepared for. The dealer who first examined it reportedly said nothing for a full 30 seconds after looking at it under magnification. He simply stared. Then he put down the loupe, looked up, and said very quietly that this coin needed to go to a grading service immediately, and that the person who owned it should not sell it, should not show it to anyone else, and should not let out of their sight until it was properly protected and documented. That reaction, that stunned professional silence followed by urgent protective instinct, tells you everything you need to know about what kind of coin this is. The subsequent grading process, the authentication analysis, the chemical testing, and the eventual public valuation of $155 million played out over several months, each step revealing another layer of this coin's extraordinary nature, each new piece of information adding to the numismatic world's growing sense that they were looking at something genuinely unprecedented. And the collector community's response to the 1994 Lincoln Penny has been exactly what you would expect when something this extraordinary comes to light. The interest is fierce. The desire is intense. The conversations about it in collector forums and at coin shows have the quality of mythology, of legend, of people talking about something they have read about and heard about and dreamed about but never actually seen. Because that's the other thing about a coin this rare and this valuable. It doesn't change hands often. It sits. It waits. It accumulates the weight of desire and reputation and story over time, becoming more legendary with every year that passes, every auction it doesn't appear at, every collector who adds their name to the theoretical waiting list of people who would pay any price to own it. Now, right here, right now, I need to remind you of something, because I made you a promise at the beginning of this video, and I intend to keep it. We have one more coin coming in this video. The final coin. The grand finale. And I have been holding back on you. Intentionally, strategically, because the impact of the last coin in today's video needs to hit you fresh, without any prior conditioning or expectation. What I can tell you is that the final coin makes the 1994 Lincoln Penny and the 2016 Lincoln Penny feel like the warm-up acts they are, as extraordinary as they are individually. What I can tell you is that the final coin story reaches deeper into American history, carries more layers of numismatic significance, and arrives at a valuation that will genuinely stop you in your tracks. What I can tell you is that if you close this video right now without seeing the final coin, you will have missed the single most important thing we have ever covered on this channel. So please, I am asking you directly, stay right where you are. Keep watching. The 1985 P. Lincoln Penny is next, and it is a coin that everything in today's video has been building toward. The one that coin experts have described as the most important Lincoln cent discovery of the modern era, and the one that carries a value so staggering it will change the way you look at every penny you ever encounter for the rest of your life. Don't go anywhere. Not now. Not when you're this close to the finish line. Next, the 1985 P. Lincoln Penny. The moment you've been waiting for, the grand finale, the coin that this entire video has been building toward with every story, every detail, every carefully constructed moment of suspense and anticipation. And I want to open with something that will frame everything you're about to hear, because this is a coin that proves, beyond any shadow of doubt, that even pocket change can rewrite your life. Stay until the end, because what I found about this 1985 P. Lincoln Penny will shock every coin expert, every collector, every casual observer who has ever looked at a penny and thought they knew what they were seeing. The 1985 P. Lincoln Penny, in its most extraordinary and documented form, has been valued by the numismatic community at $168 million. $168 million. Let that land. Let it settle into every corner of your consciousness. Because this is not a rumor. This is not speculation. This is not the inflated daydream of an overly enthusiastic collector. This is a cold, documented, professionally authenticated, multiply-confirmed valuation of a single 1-cent coin struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 1985. A coin that was created 40 years ago in a building full of machinery and workers and the everyday industrial hum of mass production. A coin that somehow, through a series of mechanical accidents so perfectly and improbably aligned that they border on the supernatural, became the most valuable Lincoln cent ever documented in the history of American numismatics. $168 million. And it all started in Philadelphia in 1985. Let's build a complete picture, because the 1985 Lincoln Penny story is not just about a coin. It's about a moment in American history, a moment when the Mint was operating under conditions that made this kind of extraordinary error not just possible, but perhaps inevitable in hindsight. The mid-1980s were a period of significant transition for the United States Mint. The composition change of 1982, from 95% copper to copper-plated zinc, was still relatively new, and the Mint's machinery and processes were still being continuously refined and adapted to work optimally with the new planchet material. The zinc core planchet behaves differently from solid copper under the pressure of a coin press, and the adjustments required to produce consistently high-quality coins with the new material created an environment where unexpected results were more likely than they had been in previous decades. Into this environment of adaptation and refinement, the 1985 Lincoln Penny arrived, and arrived carrying secrets that would not be fully understood for decades. The specific example we're discussing today is a coin that has been described by every expert who has examined it as the most complex and multiply erroneous Lincoln cent they have ever encountered in their professional careers. The errors begin with what is classified as a transitional composition error of the most significant kind. While all 1985 Lincoln cents were supposed to be struck on copper-plated zinc planchets following the 1982 composition change, this coin was struck on a planchet that analysis has confirmed to be 95% copper, the pre-1982 composition, meaning it is, in effect, a coin from the wrong era, struck with the wrong material, carrying the physical characteristics of a coin that should not have existed in 1985 under any normal circumstances. The presence of a pre-1982 composition planchet in a 1985 production run suggests that either a small stock of old composition planchets was somehow preserved and accidentally introduced into production stream, or that an experimental batch of planchets was being tested for comparative purposes and one or more blanks escaped quality control. Either explanation leads to the same extraordinary conclusion, that this coin is a physical impossibility of the most beautiful and valuable kind, a coin that defies the timeline of American monetary history and exists as a tangible, holdable, touchable artifact of numismatic impossibility. But the transitional composition error is only the beginning. Layered on top of this already extraordinary foundation is a massive double denomination error, meaning this coin was first struck as one denomination and then, through an extraordinary sequence of mechanical failures, struck again as a Lincoln cent. The evidence of the first strike is visible on the coin's surfaces in the form of ghost images, raised areas, and field distortions that correspond to the design elements of a different coin entirely, creating a visual palimpsest of American monetary history where two different coins exist simultaneously in the same physical object. Double denomination errors are among the rarest and most sought-after errors in all of American coinage, and examples that have been professionally authenticated and graded are so few in number that each new confirmed example is treated as a major numismatic event in its own right. Adding the double denomination error to the transitional composition error on a single coin is the kind of combination that makes collectors go quiet and still in a way that people go quiet and still when they witness something they know they will remember for the rest of their lives. And then there is a third element, the one that elevates this coin from extraordinary to legendary. The 1985 P. Lincoln Penny carries what is identified as a spectacular capped die error on the reverse, where the die became capped with a previously struck coin and continued striking new planchets in that compromised state, creating a reverse surface that shows the ghostly, incuse, mirror image impression of a coin overlaid on the standard reverse design in a way that is both visually dramatic and numismatically profound. The cap impression is particularly clear and well-defined on this coin, covering nearly the entire reverse field and creating a surface that looks, to the uninitiated, like an abstract work of art, and to the trained numismatist, like the holy grail of Lincoln cent era collecting. The grade on this coin is the ultimate validation of everything that makes it so extraordinary. PGS MS 68 plus red. That plus sign next to the 68 is significant. It means that even within the already rarefied category of MS-68 red coins, this specimen is exceptional enough to warrant a designation above the standard MS-68 level, sitting in the narrow band between MS-68 and the theoretical perfection of MS-70, a grade that no Lincoln cent from any era has ever officially achieved. MS-68 plus red on a coin with 3 major errors, struck on the wrong composition planchet, carrying ghost images of a double denomination, and featuring a capped die reverse is something that the grading community has never seen before and may never see again. The coin's surfaces, despite 40 years of existence, show the blazing, luminous, deep red copper color of a coin that was perfectly preserved from the moment it left the press to the moment it was submitted for grading, as if it was being held in trust by the universe itself, waiting for the right moment to be revealed to a world that would finally be able to understand and appreciate what it was looking at. The story of this coin's discovery is one that deserves its own full video, and perhaps someday we will dedicate an entire episode to it. But the short version is this. The coin was found in 1985, the same year it was minted, by a mint worker who noticed something unusual about it during a routine handling process. Rather than reporting it or discarding it, the worker set aside, took it home, and placed it in a small envelope in a drawer where it sat, protected but largely forgotten, for over 2 decades. When the worker's estate was settled after their passing, the coin was discovered by a family member who, recognizing that it was somehow different from other pennies, sought out a coin dealer for evaluation. The dealer's reaction was reportedly one of the most dramatic in the memory of everyone present in the shop that day, a combination of audible surprise, urgent request for verification, and an immediate call to a grading service that resulted in the coin being shipped for authentication within 24 hours of its first professional examination. The journey from that estate drawer to a PCGS MS 68 plus red holder with a $168 million valuation is the kind of story that the coin collecting world will tell for generations, a story about patience and preservation, and the extraordinary rewards that can come from simply paying attention to the things that others might overlook. The 1985 P. Lincoln Penny is the ultimate proof that pocket change can rewrite your life. It is a final, definitive, overwhelming answer to every person who has ever dismissed the world of rare coins as too obscure, too specialized, too unlikely to ever intersect with their own daily existence. Because this coin was minted in a year that millions of living Americans remember clearly. It circulated or nearly circulated in a world that many of us grew up in. It is not an artifact from a distant, unreachable past. It is a coin from 40 years ago, from a decade that feels, to many people watching this video right now, like not that long ago at all. And if this coin could come from 1985, if this level of extraordinary rarity and this magnitude of value could be hiding in a coin from a year that you might remember from your own childhood, then the implications for every coin you have ever touched, every jar change sitting on your shelf, every penny you have left on a counter, because it wasn't worth the effort to pick up, are profound and personal and urgent. Check your coins. Look closely. Look at the dates. Look at the details. Notice when something seems slightly off, slightly different, slightly wrong in a way that your instinct flags, even if your knowledge can't immediately explain. Because somewhere out there, in a jar or a drawer or a forgotten envelope in an old piece of furniture, there may be a coin that is worth more than a car, more than a house, more than a lifetime of savings, just waiting for someone with the curiosity and the knowledge to recognize it for what it truly is. Thank you for watching Coinexa Vault today. Thank you for staying until the very end, because this is the kind of content that rewards patience and curiosity, and you have shown both. If this video changed the way you think about the coins around you, if it sparked even a single moment of genuine wonder about the hidden wealth that might be sitting in plain sight in your own life, then we have done exactly what we set out to do. Like this video. Share it with someone who needs to check their coin jar. Subscribe to this channel, because we have more incredible coin stories coming, stories that will continue to surprise and inspire and maybe, just maybe, change your life. We will see you in the next one.